convinced that we will destroy, unfortunately, a lot of employment. Just think of self-guided cars and all the drivers losing their jobs. Let's look at the bank employees and so on.
If you're left behind, you're facing something far worse, which is to be completely irrelevant. They won't even need you as a serf or as a slave.
Something else going on here. Nothing to do with Donald Trump. We're in the middle of what I call, other people call, the fourth industrial revolution. Is there going to be middle class where, Moore's law, the IT, the way we're walking, artificial intelligence? Look what's happened with all the retail jobs that got lost because of Amazon. Now people go to Amazon, and so all across the country, a couple 100,000 people lost their jobs. And people are worried. Truck drivers I talked to are saying, well, they're going to automate trucking. I know, and I'm not going to have a job.
So we are very eager to hear from you. The fourth industrial revolution has one big challenge. It is the holding out of the middle class, which is a pillar of our democracies. So, topic, and Dr. Schwab, I'm flattered you'd asked me to keynote. There's an expression in my old neighborhood back in the United States. This may be above my pay grade. It's not above yours, though. You've written extensively on the topic that you've asked me to speak to, mastering the fourth industrial revolution. This fora defines that as change fueled by a digital revolution.
A key difference with the CBDC is that central bank will have absolute control on the rules and regulations that will determine the use of that expression of central bank liability. And also we will have the technology to enforce that. Those two issues are extremely important, and that makes a huge difference with respect to what cash is.
Give a type of money that can only be spent for a specific number of reasons. And some worry about that state control or whatever, but like in this particular narrow use case, you want to give checks to individuals to get the economy moving again.
Yeah.
So if you think of programmable money that expires if you don't spend it.
Third way we think CBDC can improve financial inclusion is through what we call programmability. That is, CBDC can allow government agencies and private sector players to program, to create smart contracts, to allow targeted policy functions. For example, welfare payment. For example, consumption coupon. For example, food stamp. By programming CBDC, those money can be precisely targeted for what kind of people can own and what kind of use this money can be utilized. For example, for food. So this potential programmability can help government agencies to precisely target their support to those people who need support. So that way can also improve financial inclusion.
Today, I'm proud to say that under the UK's presidency, the group of the world's 7 most advanced economies, the G7, is launching a set of public policy principles for retail central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. Central bank digital currencies could be a digital version of money, a bit like a digital banknote that could be used alongside physical notes and coins. Unlike most of the digital money people use daily today, it would be issued directly by a central bank, like the Bank of England in the UK. And governments and central banks across the world are working together, looking into what having a digital currency might mean in practice. This includes issues that people care about, such as ensuring users' money would be safe and secure, that it could work with other ways to pay, would be energy efficient and available to everyone. A potential CBDC could offer businesses and consumers new ways to pay in the future. It's all part of the wider story of digital innovation that has delivered benefits to millions around the world and in the UK. The decision on whether to launch a central bank digital currency is for each country to make, and no G7 jurisdiction has yet made that choice. These decisions raise important questions about the reshaping of our economy, financial systems, and the way in which people interact with money and payments. That's why working together and careful evaluation with our international partners is essential. In the UK, earlier this year, I announced a new joint task force between the Treasury and the Bank of England to look into a potential CBDC as a complement to cash and bank deposits. We're also hearing from firms, technology experts, and others. Under the leadership of the UK, this report today will help support and inform exploration of CBDCs in the G7 and beyond. With these principles, the G7 is leading an important step change in the global policy conversation. The report covers a range of important matters, such as financial stability, cyber resilience, energy efficiency, privacy, inclusion, and tackling illicit finance. These factors should all be considered when designing and potentially delivering a CBDC that would be fit for the future. Our shared objective is to ensure that CBDCs would be grounded in long-standing commitments to transparency, the rule of law, and sound economic governance. The G7 will continue its work in this important area, working with others to enhance understanding and use of these principles. We're excited to be taking a leading role with G7 members in publishing this exploratory work, bringing money and finance into the 21st century.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And you know the Crypto Teacher gives you the truth. Nothing but the truth. Yes, the truth hurts, but it sets you free. And the American people can care less about finances. But there's going to be pain. And everybody keeps talking about, is Jerome Powell going to pivot? And guys, he already said his pain is going to be coming to the economy. And the Fed, Jerome Powell, has not lied yet. We know the devil is in the details. They give you half truth. They're not talking about the fourth industrial revolution. They'll hint at it. We're not going back to the old economy. And that is the truth. We're going to the robots, algorithms, and drones that take over the economy, pay each other with crypto, and the sheep go inside the metaverse, where they will get UBI, Universal Basic Income, airdrop stablecoin CBDCs, where they're going to be told what, where, and when and how to buy. They have 3 to 6 months to spend it, or poof, it's gone. And the reason why the Fed is not going to let up, because they have to destroy this legacy market. And that means putting the American people out of work. Also, re-educating the youth that they no longer need to go to college. They're going straight to the manufacturing warehouse. And believe me, you don't want to do those jobs, and your kids don't want to do those jobs either, because the robots are going to lead the way. The Fed printed 20% of all money existence in 1 year. Also, with the C word, they were able to test the masses. They did as they were told, as long as they were able to get that free money. Also, they were able to test the technology. Things like Zoom, that's been around since 2011. Those things just didn't happen to come about. People just don't think. And that's the reason why I've been doing YouTube shorts, showing you how technology is going to run right through the economy. And a lot of these videos are anywhere from 5 to 10 years old. It's all over in Japan, all over in China, where they're testing it. Some in the United States, but majority of it's overseas. So the NWO is destroying the US dollar right in front of the American people's eyes, because they don't understand history or finances, and they stay distracted. And that's the reason why the American people are going to be brought to their knees, right along with the United States dollar. And they're going to watch China, the dragon, along with that digital yuan rise, right along with the emerging markets, leading them into the fourth industrial revolution. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the New World Order, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Is that we're headed toward a recession. If you think about the fact that in the last 4 years we've added $7 or $8 trillion to our debt, think about the fact that, until just recently, Congress, appropriated money in billions. When the word trillions didn't exist, but people got crazy and they, in effect, overinfected the world with way too much liquidity. And the Fed was asleep at the switch. And the result is that we've got a price to pay.
Are those days gone, at least for the time being? I mean, it was one thing to borrow all that money when the interest rates were essentially zero or close to zero. They're not zero anymore, and they're probably going up some.
Yeah, but the debt didn't go away. I mean, the debt that was created at zero is now at 3. And probably by the end of the year, it's going to be 4.5. So the idea that, this was some short-term phenomena, I mean, we've created, in my opinion, a huge burden that I don't know how the United States is going to deal with going forward. Because when we were paying, under 2% for money, you could borrow a lot of money. Now that you're paying over 4% for the same amount of money, that doesn't go away. Go from 4 to 5, etc., that you really see an impact.
So what is the pain level that we're going to experience in order to get inflation under control? The Fed has said there's going to be pain.
Yep.
What's it going to look like? What's it going to look like in unemployment? What's it going to look like in business failings? What's it going to look like in defaults?
Well, I think it starts with the fact that we've never really had a significant recession without a liquidity crisis. And, the Fed's been buying $80 billion worth of debt a month. And now the Fed's going to stop buying $80 billion a month. Maybe not the first month, but in a couple of months, that starts to change the game. And it's a liquidity crisis that ultimately forces a difference in behavior.
Again, go back to the UK, we saw it with the pensions and
Sure.
some derivatives they had for some long-term obligations. It often comes up where you least expect it. Long-term capital management, for example.
Yeah.
Where would you be looking right now if you were the Fed to try to find the crack points in the financial system?
Well, I'm continuing to be worried about just overexpansion. The fact that there's ultimately, unlimited demand for U.S. debt. I don't believe that. In the same manner, when I look at what's going on out there, I'm very worried about the reserve currency and the privilege that gives the United States and the flexibility it gives the United States. And if we lose that stature, and we've seen stuff where Russia and China are trading in either rubles or yuan, or Saudi Arabia is talking about selling oil for yuan. If we lose control of the reserve currency status, you're talking about a significant hit to our standard of living. I mean, to some extent, 10% inflation is the first step toward deteriorating our standard of living. But it's really the ability to issue debt, the ability to be able to generate demand for our product because we are the reserve currency. It gives us an enormous advantage over the rest of the world.
He says, not the dollar's so good, it's just all the other fiat currencies
That's
are that much
terrible.
worse.
That's right.
So what kind of jeopardy does that put the dollar in if somebody actually figures out a way to do it a little better?
Oh, I think the dollar is in great jeopardy, and that's what I've been worried about, frankly, more than anything else. And we need discipline, and it starts in Washington D.C., where there has been very little.
We're going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
This effort. And China has big plans for this. They intend to seed their digital yuan into the global environment by giving it away to visitors at next winter's Olympics. When they arrive at the airport, they're going to get yuan digital wallets. They're going to receive digital yuan. They're going to use it throughout their visits to Beijing, and then they're going to take it back to their home countries. They see this as a huge advantage. Why? Because who controls the underlying protocols, who controls the underlying standards of the future of money will control the future of money.
Most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids' books. You know, I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID 33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.